Hey y'all, welcome. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make your croquis walk down the runway. So grab your supplies, fold your sheet of paper in half, and drop a line down your center front. Next, along that line, you're going to make some tick marks or dashes about an inch apart. You'll need about 11 total tick marks. Now, for reference, I'm using a 9 by 12 notebook. Now, if you're using the 8 by 11 sheet of paper, starting about half an inch is where you'll start to make those dashes. I'll pop a picture up here on the side so you can see exactly what I mean. Once you have those tick marks marked, then you're going to want to draw your horizontal lines across the paper. When it's all said and done, you'll make 11 total tick marks and you'll have 11 total horizontal lines before you get started. After that, you'll skip that first line and start numbering them 1 through 9. A half an inch down between lines 1 and 2, you're going to make a dashed line. And then a quarter of an inch down between lines 4 and 5, you'll make another dashed line, as you see here. And once you have all your lines drawn, now we're going to label our anatomy. So number 1 is the head. The half inch down is going to be the shoulder. The second line is the center bust or bust point. Number 3, you'll label waistline / elbow. Number 4 is the hip / wrist. Number 5, mid thigh. Number 6, the knees. Number 7, the calf. Skip 8. And number 9 is the ankles. What would technically be your 10th line, you can leave it blank. And before I forget, you're going to label that quarter of a way inch down after number 4, the crotch line. Once you have your anatomy marked, we're going to go ahead and practice our heads or our ovals between the lines. So starting with line number 1. Now your ovals, it's okay if they come out more teardrop shape or almond with that point at the bottom because that's your chin, so that's fine. And by the way, if you missed my first tutorial, I show you how to draw the 9-head croquis standing from the front. In today's tutorial, we're using the same techniques of the 9-head method, but if you missed that one, I'll put the information up at the top and you can go and watch it back, and I'll have the link in the description below. All right, let's get started with making our skeleton base template. So at the center front, you're gonna make your oval. This is gonna be your head. I want you to measure the width of that oval. So when I say you can use your thumb as a guideline, I want you to take an exact measurement and just see how much you get. Now mine came out to be about 5/8 of an inch. That just so happens to be the tip of my thumbnail to my nail bed. Yours may come out different, so I do want you to take your ruler and get an exact measurement. So for reference, again, my head came out to be 5/8 in width, or a thumb's width. So you're going to take that measurement and make 2 tick marks for your shoulders, 5/8 from the center front on the right side and 5/8 from the center front on the left side, like you see here. So this will give you a 2-head width for your shoulders. On line number 3, we're going to make some tick marks for our waistline, and this measurement should be 1 head in width. So again, for reference, mine is 5/8. So on the right, you'll make a tick mark that's 5/16, and on the left, you'll make a tick mark that's 5/16, for a total of 5/8 of an inch. Now, yours may be different depending on how wide your head is. So that's not a hard, fast rule. I'm just giving you my numbers as a reference point. Once you have your tick marks, you're going to draw a straight horizontal line for your shoulders and a faint straight horizontal line for your waist. Now we are going to make another line at an angle, just a slight angle, as you see here. And then you're going to mark your tick marks on the end, but just make sure you have your 5/8 or your head width for that waistline. Now on line number 4, we're going to make another diagonal line that's parallel to our waistline, and that one needs to be 2 heads in width. So 5/8 on the right, 5/8 on the left, or a head width on the right and left for your measurement. And then slightly off the center front line on the dashed line, we're going to make a tiny V for the crotch. Now at line number 6, where the center front intersects, slightly off that point to the right hand side, we're going to make a dot for the knee of our dominant leg. And then on the left hand side, slightly off in the corner just a bit, another dot for the back leg. At line number 9, at the intersection point, dead center, you're going to make a dot for your ankle. And then about a quarter of a way inch down from line number 8, you're going to make another small dot for your back leg. From that dot on line number 9 all the way down to our imaginary line number 10, we're going to make a triangle for our foot. Then we're going to come back up to the top of our sketch and make our dot points for our shoulders on the ends of those lines. Now we're going to connect from the shoulder dot to the waist line, and you can use your ruler for this. If you're feeling bold, you can freehand, and then you're going to connect your waistline to the end of your hip line. Now, the hip line on the right-hand side is going to be at a slight angle, and then you're going to connect your crotch line to the tip of that hip line. About halfway in on the right crotch line, you're going to drop a line to that first dot at the knee, and then drop another line to that big ankle point line at line number 9. So this one on the right hand side is going to be your dominant leg. And then same on the left, so about the center, make a line connecting it to that second knee dot, and then another line blending it into the main line. This one is going to be your back leg, and it will be hidden behind the dominant leg. Now we're going to make our dots for our arms. So at about 5/8 of an inch on line number 3 from your waist, you're going to make one dot there, and then another dot on the right hand side close to the torso. This is going to be for the arm that's hidden, and at the end of the sketch, that arm is going to be behind your girl. Let's go ahead and connect the dots. So the shoulder dot connected to the elbow dot on both sides. You're doing an awesome job. She's really starting to take shape. And if you notice back to our initial sketch, from the waist up, it's almost identical. Now we'll make our cylinder shape for our neck. So 2 parallel lines and then a scooped little U at the bottom for our neckline. And don't worry if it looks weird, too skinny. We're going to shape it later. Trust the process. Now we're going to make our ovals to shape our arms. So from the shoulder point line to line number 2, make a small oval. From line number 2 to line number 3, you're going to make an elongated oval. Once you have the arms done, we're going to go back down to the legs. From the knee point on the right hand side all the way up to the hip line, we're going to make an elongated teardrop oval. And then from line number 6 to line number 7, we're going to make a smaller oval, and then blend the line all the way down to the ankle point for your dominant leg. And I'm just cleaning up my feet a little bit here, and then go over to the other side. So from that hip line up and over, and then down to that second knee point line, we're going to make another teardrop oval and curve it for our back leg. And then on line number 6 down to line number 7, make a half oval, blending it in. Now on the screen, I have our first sketch just so you can see a comparison of the differences between the front walking croquis that we're doing now and the straight on view. I want you to do a little bit more blending on that back leg. So take a line going down to that back dot ankle line and blend it out. And you can shape your leg if you like. And I'll zoom in closer just so that way you can see. We're going to shape up that front leg again and shape the back leg just so that way it's ever so slightly sticking out. Now going back up to the neck, we're going to make a elongated J shape to connect the neck to the shoulder and then blend it around. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and blend it along the outside of that oval. Next, we're going to draw in our bust, so make a U cup shape, or really it's more like a W. So from the outside to the center point. Then we're going to do some more blending on the arms, so just follow along the outside of the ovals just to give your arm some shape. And same on the left hand side as well. I'm going to give you another arm variation. So on line number 3, about halfway between the waist, and line number 4, just slightly underneath, you're going to make 2 more dots like you see here. On the first arm, we're going to finish the hand. So just define that oval a little bit sharper to that number 4 dot point. Then we're going to draw our triangle for our hand and then shape it out. So your triangle should hit that crotch line, and then you're going to make a outline of an upside down U for your index finger and your thumb. And then directly behind it, you'll make a skinny triangle for the rest of your fingers. So once you're done with that, we have our first arm positions. So the swaying one to the front and the hidden one behind. I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can set up for the arm positioning. So you'll put a dot at line 3 for the elbow and another dot here at line number 4 for the wrist. And just to get the basic shape, you'll just connect the dots for those lines. Now on the left, I'm only going to fill in the left arm just to show you. This one on the right, I'm going to be erasing it just so I can show you how to do the hand on the hip. But after you've got your baseline here with your dots, what you can do is you can go back in and fill in your ovals like we did before. So from line number 2 to line number 3, and then line number 3 to line number 4 on both sides. And then I'm just going to show you on this left line here how to draw that shape in. So I'm going back in with my oval from 2 to 3, and then my other oval from 3 to 4. And then I'll shape out the hand for you again. This time I'm just going to do just that skinny upside down U shape. This just gives you some variety on your skeleton base croquis. Now, of course, if you want, when you fold it in half, you can trace it on both sides, but this one just gives you a variation that's just slightly different from the other side, so that way it's not 100% symmetrical. Right, for hand on hip, you're going to make a dot between line 2 and 3, about 1 inch away from the body, and then another dot about 1/4 of an inch down line number 3, and then connect those dots. We're going to make our teardrop oval from that dot that's close to the body back up to our center dot, and then from the center dot back up to the shoulder dot on the right hand side. And for the sassy little hand on the hip, you're going to draw a letter C and just curve it back. I'm going to clean up my arms a little bit here. And then at the top by the shoulder, you're just going to fill in a small oval from that halfway line to line 2. And another oval from line 2 to that elbow dot, just to give your arm some definition. If you have a different color pen or color pencil, you can trace out the first set of arms, just so that way when you're retracing your skeleton base croquis, you don't get confused with the arm placement. So in this one, I'm just outlining our first set of arm positions with the orange. And once you have this base done, you are going to hold on to this sketch, because you'll just use it and retrace it, just so that way you can get different looks and different styles of croquis. These skeleton templates we're creating are your foundation. So we're going to finish this out by drawing our guidelines. So you're going to make a shallow U for your neckline, and then from the center of the shoulder, in the center of the bust, and then all the way down to the waistline, draw a princess line. Then from the waist down to this curved line here at the top of the thigh, we're drawing our underwear guideline. And then for our second set of arms, I'm going to just show you, I'm tracing it here in the green. That's just so that way you have both of those arm positions clearly defined. And again, when you're tracing this out, when you actually get ready to use it, you can interchange these arm positions, or you can use the same arm for both sides. Literally, it's up to you. And then to finalize it, you can trace the remaining parts of the body along the outside in black, just so that way it's easy to trace. And I'm going to show you how to trace this out. So grab another sheet of paper. I'm using copy paper. And a little trick that you can use, of course, fold your paper in half, make your little tick marks at the top of the line and the bottom, just so that way you have a guide. And you can tape this down before you start sketching to keep it from moving. And you'll want to put another sheet of copy paper behind it to make it easier to see. Another tip is that if you have a lamp, a small lamp, that you can place it close to the paper just to see the lines more clearly. I'm going to grab my light box just so it's easier to see the tracing process. The light box isn't a necessity, but I will admit, y'all, it is a definite game changer. I wear both contacts and glasses, and just so I don't have to squint to see my lines, this light box definitely helps. And I'll have the information for it in the description below if you want to check it out. In the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use these templates and actually draw some clothing on these girls. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't already and you found this tutorial helpful, then consider subscribing. And then if you do, go ahead and hit the bell notification. That way you know when that next tutorial comes out. And just so you know, I'm not going to leave you hanging with these girlies. So in upcoming tutorials, I'll be showing you how to draw facial features, hair, and also accessories. And when it's all said and done, you'll have a full set of croquis that you can use when you're designing your own outfits, or if you just want to practice your sketch skills. And as a side note, all of your croquis will be interchangeable, so that just means you'll be able to use the different arm positions that we learned, the different leg positions. You'll be able to mix and match between each one of your sketches. You're going to have lots of variety, and I'm going to have you sketching like a pro in no time. And even if before you only thought you could draw a stick figure, I hope this helped to build your confidence in your sketching abilities. And if you'd like some more practice, you can go back and watch the first 9 Heads tutorial here, or here's another one that I think you might like. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, y'all, keep sketching, keep sewing, and keep the momentum going. Take care.